Hello everyone, this is Olga show from you to you every Saturday night live. You can call us at 408-912-5265, 408-912-5265. Later you can check us again on olgashow.org. If you accidentally get out of the car and lost track of 92.3fm.com, not to worry, because you can go to u923fm.com, universal 92.3 fm, u923fm.com. I'm pretty sure you can find on any search engines our station. And we are coming back to our guest, actually, because why I'm saying back, because you have been here. You are quite popular among startups because you're supporting startups, you're helping them a lot. Also non-profit organizations, and done quite a big work in the community, given a lot of presentations. Wow, we're gonna talk about it. So Roger Royce, hi, how are you?
Good, Olga, good to be back. This is like our own private version of Saturday Night Live, isn't it? You keep inviting me back.
Right, well, it's keep us away from big dinners and keep us in shape, right, and alert. Yeah. So, welcome back. I know I read a lot about agricultural conference.
Right.
And that was the biggest update I saw among all other press releases I saw around.
Right, so I mentioned this before, but we're a week away now from our Ag Tech, that's Agricultural Technology Company Conference. And I'm very excited about it. We've had really a tremendous response without having to promote it very much. We have companies coming from around the world coming here to Palo Alto to participate and attend our Ag Tech conference and to pitch and present to our panel of judges. Our presenters and our panelists are really a stellar bunch. You'll be really, I think anybody would be really interested to hear these people. Congressman Sam Farr is going to be our keynote speaker at our luncheon. We have people from the California CFDA. We've got people coming from technology. We've got confirmed panelists from some big VCs, U.S. venture partners, DFJ, for example, as well as several angel groups and super angel groups. We've also got producers. We've got actual farmers coming up to Silicon Valley to give presentations and mix and mingle and talk to the tech people. So it's going to be a really great day.
So now, in terms of the conference, I saw that tickets are sold out. So we don't even try to advertise that for you.
Well, yes and no. I mean, the afternoon, which is the pitches, the afternoon session is sold out. We've only got limited space for that. It's a big space, but it is limited. However, the morning session, including lunch, is not sold out. We moved that to a bigger venue. So we've got plenty of tickets for the morning session. So you can still buy a ticket. You can have lunch. You can hear our VC panel, our Future of Ag Tech panel. You can hear almost all of the panels. All you would really miss would be the pitch sessions. So it's still very worthwhile, I think, to attend.
Now, when it will be?
It will be on Monday, May 12th, from 9 to 5 at the Oshman Family JCC in Palo Alto.
So I read somewhere it's actually not Monday, the most difficult day, but Tuesday. So is that why you do it on Monday?
Tuesday's the most difficult day to have a conference?
Or anything, go to work.
I hadn't heard that, and I don't think it matters because this is so popular. We could have done it any time and almost anywhere, and we would have had people come. I've gotten calls from people from India, from New Zealand, from Ireland, from all over the country and all over the world that are flying out just for this conference. It's very unique. It's really one of a kind. I have not heard of anybody doing anything like this. I've heard of agriculture conferences, I've heard of tech conferences, but this is like Reese's Pieces. This is Ag Tech, and it's certainly a unique event in Palo Alto and anywhere that I've ever heard of.
So you have farmers, producers, and also high-tech companies. So does it mean that now farmers can use tractors by sitting at the computer and manipulate tractor by...
Do we now have the drone tractor?
Well, not yet, but that is a technology. We certainly do have drones that are out there, and in fact, My home state of North Dakota has now become the first state in the nation that really has legalized the use of drones, and it happens to be an agricultural state. So, because currently the law is you can't fly them above 400 feet for these purposes. But that's coming. That's definitely coming. And the idea of smart farming is coming, and the idea of precision farming. But you're going to hear all about this on Monday, what the latest and new technologies are, what's actually out there. I'm a little curious myself to see what people are going to come up with and talk about.
So there will be pitching over there for sure. So do you have investors and angels,
Absolutely.
investors sitting as judges?
Absolutely. We've got 15 VCs and angels that will be on our panel. That's a huge panel, but we want to give these companies, they're coming from all over the world, we want to give them a maximum exposure. So they'll do a short pitch, there'll be a few questions, and they'll be able to hang around afterwards and meet with the judges. It's an interesting sector. There's just not a lot of funds with a D, that know a lot about investing in ag tech or that have done it. But it's growing and it's gaining traction, and people are starting to pay attention. People in the VC community, I should say, are starting to pay attention and make investments. And it's growing exponentially. Just what's happened this year in terms of ag tech, angel and venture investment, it just dwarfs what happened last year already. It's something that has really caught on. And we've got some of the leaders of that investment field coming. We've got Rob LeClaire from Egg Funder, who was just featured in Forbes magazine, as one of the up-and-comers here recently. And it's because of his efforts on behalf of facilitating investment in ag tech.
So obviously without food we cannot survive. So we have to eat something.
Right. So it's funny you should mention that. One of our panelists is Paul Matucci. He's a partner at U.S. Venture Partners. He is also the founder of a site called Feeding 10 Billion. All right. And it's very much committed to sustainability and food. And he makes the point, like a lot of us have realized, that we're going to have a lot of people on this planet, very soon, by 2050. And really, we're going to have to improve efficiency, improve production, lower costs, improve distribution, because that's a lot of people to feed.
So what are some of your new favorite advancements in agriculture technologies? What is something that really stands out to you?
Well, let me give you a few. You've hit on one, which is drone technology, and I've met with several companies now that are around the idea of having drones fly up and down a farmer's field, gathering data, relaying that data back to a computer someplace that analyzes it, and then will tell you, gee, your farm, it needs more water in this section, or you've got some sort of plant disease in that section, you need a certain pesticide. So drone technology, I think, is really interesting and exciting. The other thing that I've seen is just the management of big data. In other words, with computers now and software and smartphones and mobile devices, we can gather lots of data on a farmer's field. So up until now, the old-fashioned way of doing farming is that you've got a farmer, he knows his plot of land, and he can farm about as big a plot as he can keep, in his real memory. Well, with the power of computers, he can farm a farm, it's unlimited, really, the size of Australia, if he's got computers that can keep all the data on that field for him. So that's where we're going with this theoretically. It's going to really improve efficiency and help farmers. Those are just two. I could talk all day about this. Water, I've been doing water irrigation technology companies for 20 years now. And that's something that's really important now because, as you know, we're in a pretty severe drought here in California.
Yes.
And even the state has recognized, the CFDA has recognized the importance of water conservation and water conservation technologies.
So it's pretty much we coming to the point we have more people, not enough food, and we want good food, organic food, less pesticides.
Well, that's part of it, because there's a company, in fact, right here in Silicon Valley that can go up and down the fields with a machine and will pull diseased plants, for example. So instead of treating it with pesticides, you can have a robot do the same thing. And of course, that's environmentally more friendly. So there is crossover into environmental concerns as well.
So my dream will come true. The robots will come and dig potatoes, which I have done when I was a child.
Wow. See, robots are taking over every part. Pretty soon, there's not very few things people will have to do anymore.
No,
I
we'll
hope
be
that,
creative.
yeah, we'll be creative, but we don't have to do, like, I will not have to, make my own bed anymore, which is the day I look forward to. It might be a small goal as far as humanity goes, but it's a goal for robots.
Yeah, it's certainly coming. Technology it's kind of surprising, in fact, that given that agriculture is the largest industry in California, that it's really kind of taken this long for there to be an ag tech, at least an organized ag tech community. Like I say, there have been ag tech companies. I've been representing them for 20 years now here in California, but for there to be an organized ag tech community, it seems like a natural, and it is a natural. And the reason why, I think, is because the investment community has been just a little bit slow to wake. Well, one reason is that the investment community has been a little slow to wake up to it. But there's this other thing that I discovered when I formed a group 2 years ago, AgTech. I came to realize that the technology people don't really have much of an opportunity to talk to their customers, farmers, producers, right? Or the companies that serve those producers. And I found oftentimes that the technology entrepreneurs had a set of assumptions about what would be really cool, that what a farmer would really like, and that's kind of a mistake that almost every industry goes through, in its nascent stages, that people don't go talk to the customers. Well, we've got a forum now where they can go talk to the customers. They can put it out there, they can get feedback, we can see what we think works, talk to experts. So this is going to be a great facilitating device for the development of ag technology.
So this would really combine California's two biggest industries, technology and agriculture.
Absolutely.
Bringing Silicon Valley and Sacramento together.
Yeah, I guess so. And not just Sacramento, but Monterey County is a big producer. The Salinas Valley is probably the biggest producer of ag products in the state. Fresno, Bakersfield, up north. There is a big ag tech community in Davis, Sacramento, and hopefully they'll be participating and attending. There's a big ag tech community up north in Napa.
Oh, I've recently been to Napa. It amazes me the amount of science that goes behind, the making of the grapes, like how much data testing they do. The guy explained to me how they had to check data on the soil levels to make sure the grapes for the wine were just perfect.
Right, absolutely. And again, that is a subset. Vintners are a subset of the agriculture community, as well as aquaculture, as well as hydroponics. We could go on and on.
Yes, I was would like, not only wondering that it's timing, but also would like to invite more people to Silicon Valley Ag Tech Conference in Palo Alto, May 12th, in Jewish Community Center, here organized by Roger Royce. So I know you have been working a lot in the field and with startups, and they will be allowed to do pitches. Is it not too late to sign up to give a pitch?
No, it's not too late. I think our investor group will stick around as long as they can if we've got a good company, as long as it is agriculture tech related. So, just send me the executive summary or an email, or send it to Olga. She's got some pull with the organizer, I understand,
right?
Which is me. So we'll get you in if you're the right kind of company.
So you can always find us at olgashow.org, and you have all of the contact information. If you not on Facebook, it's okay. LinkedIn is there. My mail, my phone, my cell phone. So you would be able to find me. Do people call 24/7? So it's okay.
If you look on our website, there's always some way to contact her, day or night.
Yes. So, and of course, Roger Royce, his law firm in Palo Alto, just across the street of one of my dim sum favorite restaurants.
Right.
So now crowdfunding. What is new in crowdfunding?
Yeah, that's sort of the second area in which our law firm has shown leadership, is in this whole crowdfunding movement. And it's been 2 years now, last month, since the Jobs Act was passed. And unfortunately, Congress moves at a glacial pace here, and not a whole lot is new in the law. We've certainly not since I've been here last, but a lot's been changing in the market, and certainly we're seeing more and more sites go up that are doing this accredited only crowdfunding, where you can advertise and solicit, as well as online investment groups, which is accredited non-public solicited crowdfunding. I guess what's new is this is sort of an interesting development that I'm not sure anybody predicted, but we all probably should have. We're seeing a marriage of crowd-funded sites, which now frees up billions of dollars of new angel capital, and early stage accelerators and incubators. And it's kind of a natural, isn't it? We've got a source of deal flow, and we've got a source of funds, and they're sort of coming together in all sorts of different combinations, joint ventures, strategic relationships, even organizations that will do both. And that is, you heard it here first on the Olga Show, that is going to fundamentally change the landscape here in Silicon Valley. Just picture one-stop shopping for your startup. You got an idea, and in the old days, you ran around and you talked to 10 different service providers to try to put everybody in place, and then you had to go talk to the investors, and you had to go talk to the space. Well, just imagine you can do that under one roof, and you have that pipeline of funding lined up as well. That's where the market is going.
So how has crowdfunding helped innovation so far? What new technologies and ideas were only successful due to crowdfunding? I guess.
Well, I don't have those statistics yet. I think it's too early to say. I will say that there are several companies that have gotten off the ground and have gotten funding through crowdfunding and crowdsourcing that otherwise had not up till that point.
And where do you see the future of crowdfunding and going, and how do you think it'll change the market for startups?
Well, the future, of course, like I said, is I think it's going to result in more money. See, here's the problem with fundamental crowdsourcing before the law change, is that it worked really well for affinity products. Like if you had a watch, I think it's Match, right? Or if you have a movie or something that consumers can really identify with, well, yeah, you can put that out there and they'll get it and they'll buy into it. But that's much different than the kind of companies here in Silicon Valley that raise lots of money. They tend to be tech companies. They tend to attract investors who have some pretty sophisticated knowledge in their space and their area. What the crowdfunding movement can now do is you can have the best of both worlds. You can leverage the crowd and go out to fairly large groups of people, and you can also do that leveraging the expertise of a lead investor, what we call a cowbell investor. And that's what's going to change the market. That's what's freeing up billions of dollars for good companies.
Now, I heard from you one new word, and it's called the Royce Law Incorporator. What is that? I didn't even hear that from you.
Okay, well, I guess my product marketing isn't working very well, or you haven't been paying attention, because I believe I've talked about it before. It's an online incorporation tool.
Oh, now I remember, yes, yeah. Where you fill out all of the forms and it's cost very cheap.
Right. We've tried to automate it's a law tech product, and we've tried to automate the incorporation process, at least the routine aspects of it, but still retain the opportunity to have legal counsel and advice throughout the process.
So it means you wanted to be sure that you can save the money.
Right. Suppose you want to incorporate the Silicon Valley way. You can either call me and we can spend some time on the phone and we can do it the old-fashioned way, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or you go to the Royce Law Incorporator site, you fill out a query, a form, an online form, 10 questions at most, and then you get a call with me and we kind of go through it in an hour or maybe 2 hours, and then you have your incorporation. So you see the difference is that we've just automated that form filling part, and you've saved your hour for me to talk about, gee, what kind of entity should I be, what state should I be in, what country should I be in, things like that, how much stock should I issue, etc.
Yes, I remember that, and of course I have a immediate concern why attorney would like to save money, because you can have them and they will spend hours and hours with you discussing all of these questions, and you're like, okay, here's the 10 questions, you can prepare to meet with me.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that this really is the tip of the iceberg for us included. Now, yesterday, Friday, at Stanford University, they had the Code X conference on law tech. I tried to attend, but there was no parking, believe it or not, in the entire campus. But I will say that there are emerging companies, really new technologies coming up. And I've been working for about 5 years on an artificial intelligence module that goes way beyond what anything out there currently does. That gives you basically an interactive site that will replicate the thought process that I would go through on more complex questions. And I don't know if I'll ever accomplish that in my lifetime, but we do, however, have some early working versions of this that we have been using now for over a year for our select, call them beta customers, select clients, and they love it, people who have been using this. So eventually we'll make this more widely available.
So eventually we're going to have our computer be our lawyers too.
Yeah, you mentioned robots. You can have a robot lawyer. It's just
Wow.
on its way. It's just a matter of time.
Who knows, maybe the Terminator of tomorrow might come in a suit.
So, startup basics, how to split the pie. That was your presentation around Northern California.
So it's a presentation that I've put together recently, and let me give you the scenario. Everybody has kind of been through this. They go into their lawyer's office. You got your 3 founders, and they say to the lawyer, "We want to form a corporation because we're a startup company." And the lawyer says, "Great, sign here." And they say, "Okay, how much stock should we each have?" And the lawyer says, "How should I know? I'm just a lawyer. You guys got to figure that out." And you'll say, "Well, any guidelines?" And they say, "Well, you could split it equally, or you just go off and negotiate it and come back and tell me." And then after they do that, they come back and say, "We want to bring on this advisor. How much stock should we give him?" "How should I know? I'm just a lawyer," right? That's kind of the answer that a lot of very frustrated entrepreneurs get in this valley. Well, what I wanted to do was do something non-legal on a presentation. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been in Silicon Valley for more than 20. And I've seen a lot of different models, and I've seen what works, and I've seen what doesn't work. So the presentation that I hope to do again has to do with how founders can find a methodology for dividing equity in a company amongst themselves. It's very good practical stuff, and I went through several different methods that have been used. Now, Olga, here's an interesting fact for you. There's a professor at Harvard Business School who did a study of this, of startup companies, and he discovered that companies that just start a company and just split it up equally among all the founders, there's 3 of us, we'll each take a third, those companies on average get a much lower valuation on their financing and their exit than companies that use a methodology or negotiate a split. And we could theorize about why that is. I mean, obviously it's because somebody feels under-rewarded and somebody probably feels like they're getting a free ride. It doesn't make for the best dynamics. So the science out there supports using a methodology and there are very well-established methodologies out there, and that's what we talked about. We also talked about just kind of the very practical advice, like what are you worth to a VC? What advisors do you want and what value can they bring? It was just more real practical nuts and bolts startup stuff. We got away from the legal aspects a little bit on this, and I had a good time. I think we all learned something that day.
Great. So I will have a week at Microsoft Valley Fair, and hopefully maybe you will be one of the speakers talking about that.
Sure, be happy to.
I guess Monday you are busy. It's because from 12 to 16, but we will do it on Tuesday through 16 and check one of the nights available. I know you are very busy attorney. You even working today when I called you to verify that you are coming, and you were working. So one of your second edition book, Dead on Arrival. We already gave introduction, Dead on Arrival, at one of our presentation here, and the interview is available on the internet. Good. So why is second edition needed?
So, being a lawyer, I just can't help changing things and monkeying around with it and marking it up every time I read it. And over the last couple of years since I published it, since it was first published, I've gotten really good feedback from people. I've had an opportunity to go through and I see what might assume a little more knowledge than most non-lawyers have, and even some lawyers, where I could have expanded the the discussion a little bit. So yeah, so I'm working on the rewrite. I'm working on the second edition, and I'll offer to all of your listeners and viewers here that if you want to send me an email at rroyce@rroycelaw.com, I'm happy to send you updates as they become available. I fully expect to have the second edition finished by the end of this summer. Who needs a summer break? And have it out in hard copy by the end of the year.
So I'm trying to show this on the internet because sometimes you will think of different spelling, and I hope you can see that right now. I even cover attorney just in case you pay too much attention at him but not at the sign. Roger Royce Law Firm.
Royce is an R-O-Y-S-E.
Right, it's www.rroyce, that's rroycelaw.com.
Yeah, what is it? Dub. That's something new. I've never heard. Is it like no, it's not Silicon Valley style?
It's just easier than saying www.
Okay, because yeah, that's I never heard of that pronunciation. Great. So second edition. Do you know when we can expect that? And hopefully we'll have press release someday soon. If not at this show, another show, because we have lots of Olga shows.
Yeah, don't worry, I won't hide. You'll be the first to know, Olga. But,
Yes.
but it'll definitely, I'm really shooting to get this out by the end of the year. And we're beefing up the intellectual property and technology sections, kind of adding a lot more about strategy. And the book itself, I'm going to retain all the good legal content, but I want to add some more content about strategy, some of the things we were just talking about, the dynamics between founders, with investors, with advisors, etc.
And stay tuned, because Startup Basics, How to Split the Pie at Microsoft Valley Fair store will be with Olga Show together next week from 13 to 16. We have to adjust the timing and day, so you would be able to come in. And please find that information through Roger Royce or through me, olgashow.org. I will be able to post that on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter. So keep yourself tuned, and of course keep watching our video, because today's interview would be available under olgashow.org and Roger Royce Law Firm. So thank you, Roger, for coming. It was
Thanks.
nice to see you
Thank
here
you.
again.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to
That was